Chloride Canyon echoes in the silver dust, the canyon and its memory. Deep in the Black Range of southwestern New Mexico lies a trail unlike any other, Chloride Canyon. It's a rugged passage cut by time and water, a place where history still clings to the rocks and the sound of the creek carries the echoes of another century. Today, it's a destination for off-roaders and explorers, a challenging route that crosses the creek more than 100 times. But long before the roar of engines, this canyon was alive with a different kind of sound. The strikes of hammers, the rattle of wagons, and the voices of those chasing silver dreams. The land before the boom, before the mining camps and stage lines, this was Apache country. For generations, the canyon was a corridor between valleys, a route for hunting, trading, and travel. They knew its turns and ridges intimately, reading the land for water and shelter. To them, the canyon wasn't wilderness, it was home. When settlers began to arrive in the late 1800s, that balance shifted. The peace of the canyon gave way to a new kind of noise. Picks and stone, wheels in the riverbed, and the endless search for ore. The spark of discovery. The town of Chloride was born from chance. In 1879, a freighter named Harry Pye was hauling supplies through the canyon when he noticed a glint in the creek bed, a silvery mineral that caught the sunlight just right. It turned out to be silver chloride, rich and promising. 2 years later, Pye returned with partners and staked the first claim. By 1881, word had spread and prospectors poured into the region. Cabins and tents rose along the water. The canyon filled with the sounds of saws, hammers, and the hopeful talk of men who believed their fortune lay beneath their feet. The rise of chloride. At its height in the mid-1880s, Chloride was a thriving mining town with nearly 3,000 residents. The main street was lined with wooden storefronts, saloons, supply houses, hotels, a print shop, even a few churches. A local newspaper, the Black Range, chronicled daily life. New claims, local gossip, and a constant gamble of silver prices. Freight wagons rumbled in and out of the canyon, hauling or down to the smelters and bringing back goods from the rail lines miles away. The canyon became the lifeline of a community built on courage, luck, and a little bit of stubbornness. Life in the canyon. Days began with the whistle of the mills and ended with lantern light spilling out of saloon doors. The air was heavy with dust and the smell of pine smoke. Miners worked the hillsides and tunnels, some striking rich veins, others finding nothing but broken rock. The work was dangerous, the rewards uncertain, but for a brief moment, Chloride thrived. Families settled. Children played along the creek. The town became more than a mining camp. It was a small, hard-won civilization in the wilderness. The crash and the silence. Then came the crash. In 1893, silver prices collapsed across the country, sending mining towns like Chloride into decline. One by one, the claims went quiet. Mills shut down, businesses closed, and families packed what they could and moved on. The canyon grew silent again, the creek washing away the traces of wagons and footprints. Nature began its slow work of reclamation. What was once a bustling town faded into memory, the wooden walls weathering under the New Mexico sun. The ghost town that endures. Today, Chloride still stands, part ghost town, part open-air museum. A few of the original buildings have been restored, including the Pioneer Store Museum and several cabins. Walking its quiet streets, you can almost hear the echo of boots on wood, the laughter from an old saloon, and the creak of wagons rolling past. The town hasn't vanished. It's simply paused in time, holding on to its stories. The trail through history. The Chloride Canyon Trail still follows the same route miners once traveled. For modern explorers, it's a challenge of skill and endurance. Steep climbs, narrow turns, and endless crossings of the same creek that once fed the town's lifeblood. Each ripple of water carries a piece of the past, and every bend in the trail reveals another page of history written in stone and rusted iron. To drive this trail is to trace the same path of hope, hardship, and resilience that built the American West. What remains? Chloride Canyon is more than a ghost story. It's a reminder of how quickly fortune fades and how deeply human hands can shape a landscape. The mountains around it hold their silence, but they also hold memory of miners and families, of courage and loss, of a time when silver meant everything. Now, travelers come not to dig for treasure, but to discover the beauty that remains, the rugged piece of a canyon that has seen it all and still endures. As the trail winds westward and the canyon opens to the light, the story of Chloride settles back into the earth. The creek keeps flowing, the wind keeps whispering, the town, the trail, and the people who built them have become part of the land itself. So as you descend the west side of Chloride Canyon, take it slow. Look around. Listen to the water. You're not just driving a trail, you're moving through a living memory. Enjoy the rest of the ride.